Okay, welcome back. Sorry about the delay. I apologize. My camera died out on me. Um, Welcome back to the Sports Talk Podcast 81 with me, Joe Vic. And apparently, I was talking about Game One, and the Pirates lost. The Pirates won their game against the Reds, 9-1. And apparently, they did. They didn't play their hearts out, but the Reds were kind of insane. Anything else? Anything? And they did okay then. But what I meant to say was, I was on Game Two with the Orioles and the New York Mets. They won their game 7-2 against the Orioles. I mean, New York won their game against 7-2 and everything else. And if this cuts out, I got a backup camera. So apparently that's what happened. If I can record this whole thing, I can do it. And then we got the Rays and the Giants. That was a blowout, apparently 3-0. And apparently the Giants won. They could have won. They could have won their game offhand to a certain degree where it just, that was crazy. But the Reds, on the other hand, Pirates winning against the Reds, that was a pretty unique goal in mind. That was pretty interesting for them. That was not easy for them to conquer. And then they had the New York Mets facing off in the Orioles, 7-2. That was okay of a game. And I was like, you can't really deny that or anything else. So it's like, but no, the one that I wanted to talk about was mostly Game 3, and it was like Game 3 on the other hand. The Giants versus the Rays, that was kind of an easy win for the Rays. I mean, because of the Rays right there, you can't deny that in any form of baseball. Any form of baseball at all. You can't really deny that. And then Game 4, on the other hand, which is the Phillies and the Marlins. Phillies won their game 6-5. And it was okay of a game, really. It was not that bad of a game. I mean, it was a close game, but it was like 6-5 against the Phillies. You can't beat that. I mean, Marlins and Phillies do have good offense and defense here. They do have a very good offense and defensive line. When it comes to the outfield, the infield, the batting, the catching, the pitching, they're pretty good with what they do. Offhand, it's not that easy. I mean, they're both good teams. They play their hearts out. It's not that easy, but they have very good offense and defense on the side of the baseball. So it's like, you got to think where this goes. You can't really deny that, really. And you can't really deny when the Phillies do play the Marlins, it's going to be a close game. I mean, it's going to be a close game. You can't really deny that. I mean, if Phillies do go to the championship and win the pennant, I can't be honest that they could, but they have a chance. I mean, they have a chance to go to the Stanley Cup right about now. I mean, I covered that a couple of days ago. I mean, they went to the playoffs, and they're still in the playoffs, but they might go to the championship of the Stanley Cup and win. Now, when it comes to baseball, they might go to the pennant and win the MLB championship. You can't tell what Philly is going to do. They have two great teams right now in Philly, between MLB and NHL. And if the Eagles are third, I wouldn't be surprised. I can't really blame myself for saying it. But they've been on a roll lately. I mean, they're like ninjas. Like I did that one short of the Naruto thing. They're like ninjas. You can't really deny that. You can't push your luck with the Phillies or Flyers or Eagles or the 76ers. You can't. You can't really deny them. All the teams from all the leagues. So far, Philly's doing pretty good as far as they know. But how far can they go with the baseball scene? Even if they're close to the playoffs, they still got a long way to go for the MLB. But in hockey, they're very good in the playoffs. What about the basketball season? What about the football season? You got to think, can Philly win the MLB championship? But can they win the NBA championship? Can they win the football championship, the Lombardi Trophy? Can they win the can they win the basketball tournament? The Can they win the MLB championship? Can they win the NFL championship? There's a lot of key factors in this that you gotta think where Philly can go. So far both the teams for this season alone, from hockey to baseball, they're doing pretty good. What about the NBA? What about the 76ers? Can they do good? Yeah. Philadelphia Eagles from the NFL. Can they do good? Yeah, probably so. But that's 4 championships right there, back to back. I mean, you gotta think, if Philly's doing this good in MLB and NHL, you gotta think what the other 2 sports can be like. I mean, you gotta think. On the top of your mind, you gotta think what Philly is doing with their teams now. I mean, yeah, football, I'm right about that. They're like ninjas. They won the championship twice in a row in the NFL. I get it. But winning it in baseball, I would be amazed. Basketball, I would be amazed. Stanley Cup would be a huge upset for anybody. On to Game 5 here. Alright, so on to Game 5, St. Louis and LA Dodgers. St. Louis won their game 7-2 against the LA Dodgers. LA didn't really play their hearts out. They tried their best. All in all, it wasn't too bad of what it was. I mean, that was something they could done. But 7-2, that was a terrible game. That was a total terrible game for the LA Dodgers. They could have won it. But the St. Louis Cardinals, they had the better team. I mean, that was like something out of the ordinary. But and the New York Mets won their game against the Angels 3-4. The Mets, on the other hand, they've been doing pretty good themselves with New York Yankees. But at least one of the New York teams they're both doing good actually this year. Even if it's the beginning of the season, they're doing pretty good. So, New York Mets and the Yankees, they're kind of one lopsided right now, but time will tell with that. But no, I mean, let me know in the comments down below about this video, about the Philly teams. Between baseball, hockey, football. You gotta think how good they're being, Philadelphia. I mean, you gotta think. And that's all for the major pro sports all combined. You gotta think how good they're doing. Imagine if arena football starts back up. Imagine how Philadelphia Soul would take it. How good they would be on the arena football field. There's a guaranteed gamble here that it'll pay off, but you gotta think. Where can you go with it? You can't go wrong with Philly, with one team winning for your hometown team. I would say all the Philly teams got sick of losing, or they got to the mayor's office, and the mayor kind of lectured all the teams from the major leagues, saying you gotta win a championship this year. I'm assuming that was it. If the mayor did step in to the owners, I wouldn't be surprised. The mayor's been like groveling, like, you gotta win, please, please. I mean, you gotta think, if he groveled, begging on his knees, I can imagine, bringing sports back, bringing championships back to Philly. I would like it to see it. But no, since they're doing pretty good in the NHL right now, Philadelphia, they have 2 championships on the belt on the NFL side. And then you got the MLB, which was in the middle of it right now, and first half of the middle, and they're doing pretty good right now with their games. So time will tell with that. Time will tell what Philly is going to do. All right, for the MLB podcast, for the MLB talking today with Sports Talk Podcast 81 with Joe and Vic. Thank you for joining me. Like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Joe and Vic signing off. Take care.